Good day everyone, I am Michael, moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is the transfer of validated methods. It's my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today, John Fedger. John C. Fedger has over 30 years of experience in HPLC methods development. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, John.
Good day, everyone. Today's topic is on method validation and transfer under good laboratory practices. It covers a wide-ranging variety of topics. The intent was that if there were problems at any manufacturing facility of whatever kind, the product should be interchangeable. The first topic is basically some of the issues related to analytical method validation. There are 6 phases in Food and Drug Administration approval, and these are listed. These are all spelled out in an FDA document. As with anything under good laboratory practice, the purpose defines what is done, and that must be reemphasized on every step throughout all things. Verification or validation proves that the laboratory is doing suitable work as assessed by the Food and Drug Administration for that particular stage. This is just a statement that basically says everything needs to be verified and defined in a report. These statements and things come from that original FDA document that I noted earlier. This is just repeating some of the other things of what the differences are. Pre-method pre-validation is a step where once you have typically a methodology that you're aiming for after you've gotten the first 4 stages done. So you're aiming for over-the-counter approval overall. These are the different ones for the different stages, and so they may differ in some of the purposes. These are some of the questions, so you have to define those up front. What analytes are you going to determine? Many of the things that come into place are defined in here. If you already have a prescribed instrument that you're going to do, then that frame is a framework or a limitation on what you can do as far as methodology and its capabilities. Method validation characteristics, and once again, there are no lists. The endpoint describes the methodology. These are some suggested possibilities. In detail, this training was actually designed to be for a longer one. I've touched on the cogent points. For protocols, the method validation is showing that a particular method performs and does what it is supposed to do. This is supported by a report. Once again, these are reminders that things vary and change. The method validation report, as I said, needs to be a correct report of what's going on with the methodology. You lay it out as a framework, what you're going to describe. There are guidelines for the reports. Here are some, and they are just that, guidelines for a method validation report. These are just some suggestions of what you may include. Transfer of methods, which I'll go through quickly. Everything must be the same to have perfect transfer. This is just a little illustration to why that is important. It comes from a National Institutes of Standards and Technology publication. Quickly going through that, the best reference solution from an analytical standpoint is if you have a standard reference material, BCR. They produce reference materials for analysis so laboratories can compare data to show that they get the same numbers. In using a check sample, there's some caveats. You have to make sure that the matrix effects are understood and known, and that I show on this slide. Once again, same is always a question, and you have to spell that out. It's an error that was emphasized in interlaboratory data. As I once again, and these things are just explanation for some of the things, was that round robin testing and doing that as an ongoing approach was very important. These are just some repeats of some of those things. Statistical process control for our laboratories. This is a little thing on that. Basically, you use control charts and monitor. and do a root cause analysis, find the source of the problem and correct it, and then reevaluate to show that you're performing. I won't go into all those consequences, and with that, I will close the webinar. And once again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, John. That does conclude the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. Hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead.